As the 7th edition of the Community of Latin American Caribbean State Summits came to a close, its 33 member countries signed the Buenos Aires Declaration, pledging to deepen integration, climate action, democratic institutions, and multilateralism. On Tuesday, Peruvian Secretary of Forces violently repressed protesters at the Great National March in the streets of downtown Lima, resulting in several injuries and arrests. Germany announced it will make Leopard 2 tank available to Ukraine despite Russian warnings. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the Telesur headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news. Stay with us. On Tuesday, 33 countries of the Community of Latin American Caribbean States signed the Buenos Aires Declaration, through which they pledge to deepen integration, climate action, democratic institutions, and multilateralism. The 111-point agreement highlights the importance of consolidating Latin America as a zone of peace, advancing food security, and deepening cooperation in health matters. At the close of the event, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Prime Minister Rangel Salves, receiving the CELAC pro tempore presidency, highlighted the efforts that Argentina and Mexico made to consolidate CELAC in 2022. The declaration also underscored the progress achieved in the CELAC's dialogue with extra regional partners, including the European Union, China, India, the African Union, and the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. After the regional summit, Brazil announced it intends to keep Mercosur's funding treaty unchanged, as well as the bloc's common external tariff. This was stated on Tuesday by Celso Amorim, senior advisor on international issues to Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, at a press conference held at the end of the 7th CELAC Summit held in Buenos Aires. Amorim was categorically in his objection to Uruguay's decision to negotiate bilateral trade agreement without the authorization of its Mercosur partner. Amorim emphasized that the bloc, founded in 1991 by Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, and Uruguay, should be preserved and proposed and dialogue in such a direction, adding that the common external tariffs is the first article of the Trade of Association. Peruvian security forces on Tuesday violently repressed demonstrators who participated in the Great National March held in the streets of downtown Lima, resulting in several injuries and arrests. Independent media and organizations announced on their social network the way in which police officers threw pellet and tear gas bombs against the participants in the protest, demanding the resignation of President designated Dina Boluarte. The search counted at least 4 people being treated by first aid brigades for pellet injuries, while they warned that there were at least 6 detainees in a nearby police station. Since the mobilizations began last December the 7th in Peru, more than 60 people have been killed during the actions of security forces. The government of Peru extended the mandatory social leave mobilization in the Department of Puno for 10 calendar days starting on Wednesday, January 25th, so that all people must remain at home from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. hours the following date while sending troops to the region. The measure is complementary to the state of emergency imposed on January 15th due to the escalation of social unrest in Puno, which also includes the region of Lima, Callao, and Cusco. This announcement comes after one of the most violent days in the history centered in Lima took place on Tuesday, hours after the designated President Dina Boluarte called for a national truce with the demonstrators in order to start a dialogue. In Peru, human rights organizations and independent lawyers will denounce the government of Dina Boluarte and his police chief for the violations of human rights during the intervention in the Universidad Nacional Mayor de San Marcos.
After more than 24 hours, the university students and peasants detained at the Universidad Nacional Mayor de San Marcos were released, bringing with them testimonies of mistreatment and humiliation.
Most of us have been beaten. The university students got the worst of it. A young lady was grabbed here and her blouse was ripped, and I think there are witnesses saying that other university students have been touched.
A total of 194 people were detained by hundreds of national police, some of them peasants from the southern regions of Peru and other students living in the university residence. All claim to have been victims of abuse during the intervention.
What I have is a bruise from the fact that at the time I was handcuffed, not only did they tell me to get down on my knees, not only did they talk to you in an aggressive and abusive way, but they also pulled you, and if you spoke more, they would hit you with a stick.
The mistreatment was not only physical, but also psychological.
They say get down on the ground, get down on the ground, and we were running and the tear gas bombs, the helicopter. I said at what moments they were shooting, they called us terroristas, terrorists on the ground, and so on, and they were shouting insults at us.
According to some specialists, this is a clear violation of human rights, since there was never any presence of prosecutors or representatives of the Ombudsman's office.
This situation is used for different purposes. Firstly, to intimidate people. Secondly, to treat them as second-class people. And thirdly, at the head of these 195 people, to tell them that anyone who comes to Lima is going to be treated in this way. It is a humiliating treatment, a discriminatory treatment that only dictatorships have implemented in this country.
They also consider that this is a terrible precedent of violation of university autonomy.
If the only solution is to repress the population, it is a dictatorship. It is a dictatorship. At what point did the Attorney General come out to defend the rights of all those who have been mistreated up to now? Consequently, it cannot be said that this is a democratic government because there is no democracy here. They are silencing our mouths.
Human rights organizations and independent lawyers have been gathering information and evidence to criminally denounce those responsible in the government and the national police before national and international justice agencies.
Jaime Herrera, Telesur, Lima, Perú.
In Haiti, the Ministry of Public Health and Population reported on Tuesday another 15 deaths from cholera, bringing the total toll from the disease to 511. Since the incidence of the cholera 4 months ago, there have been 19,378 confirmed cases and more than 25,000 suspected cases. Still, many cases go unreported. Children aged 1 to 4 are the most affected by the disease. The lack of drinking water, the difficulty of movement due to the fear of armed guns and extreme weather conditions are fulfill the spread of cholera, a disease that affects the intestines after ingesting contaminated water or food. Symptoms include acute diarrhea leading to dehydration, which can lead to death within hours. Haiti launched an oral cholera vaccination campaign last December with the support of the Pan American Health Organization. The country has received about 1.17 million doses of the vaccine. Let's take a very short break now, but remember, you can now follow us on our TikTok account as Telesur English, in which you will be able to see news in different formats, news updates, and more. Stay tuned for more news. Welcome back to From the South. On Tuesday, Russian ambassador to the United States, Anatoly Antonov, reiterated that if the U.S. sends M1 Abrams tanks to Ukraine, they will be destroyed. The diplomat reported that a possible sending of tanks and other military equipment from NATO countries to Ukraine will be another blunt provocation against Russia. Several U.S. media had reported the day before that President Joe Biden could announce on Wednesday the shipment of 30 to 50 tanks. Today, the U.S. has been reluctant to provide these tanks to Ukraine, citing the difficulties and a high cost of their maintenance. Antonov accused the United States of supporting the attack on Crimea, allegedly covering up crimes against the population of the Donbas, Zaporizhia, and the Kherson region. Despite Moscow's warning, Germany decides to make Leopard 2 tank available to Ukraine. In an official statement, the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz informed that the objective is to gather and send as soon as possible to battalions with Leopard tanks to help Kiev. Scholz also added that as a first step, he will make available at least 14 Leopard 2A6 from Federal Army reserves, while some European partners transfer the tanks. German authorities assured that they will grant the corresponding transfer permit to partner countries that wish to quickly deliver the tanks to Ukraine. And regarding the recent announcement of German Leopard 2 tanks being sent to Ukraine, let's review their characteristics, their performance in war conflict, and the significance of this for Ukraine. The Leopard 2 is a German-made tank armed with 120mm gun and with reinforced armor in the front. It can go as fast as 70 km per hour when off-road. It has been used in combat against irregular forces in Afghanistan, in the Balkans, and in Syria, and it is similar to the Russian-made T-90 tanks. According to the international legislation, in order to export a Leopard tank from other countries to Ukraine, first it is necessary to have Germany's permission. On Wednesday in Uruguay, firefighters, neighbors, and municipal authorities fought a fire of great proportions in the area of Cerro del Toro, northeast Montevideo. Strong winds allowed a rapid advance of fire towards the area of Pan de Azúcar Hill, where the high temperatures have been registered in the last weeks, which endangers the forest fire. For now, the intervention of the Air Force is expected to fight the flames from the air. So far, thanks to the fire department, the flames have not affected any houses and the area has been evacuated. In Japan, heavy snowfalls caused the death of at least one person and forced the cancellation of almost 400 domestic flights. At a press conference, the Nippon government spokesman reported at least one death as a result of the snowfall and said that it is being investigating whether the death of two more people is due to the same case. For the other hand, Japan Airlines and All Nippon Airways have already accumulated 177 and 111 cancellations respectively, to which thousands more have been added in low-cost airlines. A cold front that arrived in Japan early this week brought heavy snowfall and a widespread drop in temperatures. On Tuesday, a Taliban official said in Afghanistan 157 people have died as a result of the recent snowstorm and extreme cold affecting the country. That toll doubled in less than a week as millions face extreme temperatures with minimal humanitarian aid. The country is suffering one of its coldest winters, with temperatures plummeting to minimums 28 degrees Celsius in early January. According to a report by the State Ministry for Disaster Management, deaths are reported in 24 provinces, with hypothermia and carbon monoxide poisoning being the main cause of death. And we have more news coming up after this final short break, so don't go away. Welcome back. The government of the Democratic Republic of the Congo on Wednesday accused Rwanda of acts of war after shots were fired at a Congolese military plane in a border region. Authorities of the Democratic Republic of the Congo denied that the plane violated Rwanda airspace amid strong diplomatic tensions. The report notifies that the fighter jet was attacked as it began to land at the international airport in the Congolese city of Goma, and added that the random fire was directed at Congolese aircraft traveling inside Congolese territory and never flew over Rwandan airspace. On the other hand, the government of Rwanda confirmed that it had taken the defensive measures against a Congolese army plane for allegedly violating Rwandan airspace. More than 12 terrorist groups affiliated with the Israeli government were arrested in Iran. The announcement was made on Tuesday by the country's Minister of Intelligence, Sayed Ismail Khatib. According to the official code by the Emirates News Agency, the aim of this group was to take revenge for the failure of attempts in destabilizing the political situation in Iran. At the same time, he stressed that the Iranian people shown unity which help maintaining order in the country. The minister stressed that Iran will confront its enemies to defend its security and national interests. In December 2022, for people accused of having linked with the Mossad, the Israeli intelligence service, were executed in Iran. The Dakar 2 African Food Summit, which kicked off on Wednesday in the Diamniadio, a city under construction some 36 kilometers from Dakar, will mark the future of African agricultural and food supply. Under the theme of Feeding Africa, Food Sovereignty and Resilience, this forum is being held until Friday that will bring together more than 20 heads of states and governments, as well as the private sector, UN agencies, and non-governmental organizations at the Abdou Dik International Conference Center in Diamniadio. On Wednesday, at the opening conference of Dakar 2 Summit of Food Sovereignty in the African continent, the President of Senegal and the African Union, Macky Sall, said that Africa must learn to feed itself and welcome the presence of many heads of state to transform its potential into reality to allocate at least 10% of the national budget to the agricultural sector, he said. On Wednesday, at the opening conference of the Dakar 2 Summit on Food Sovereignty in the African continent, the President of Senegal and the African Union, Macky Sall, said that Africa must learn to feed itself and welcome the presence of many heads of state to transform its potential into reality to allocate at least 10% of the national budget to the agricultural sector.
Africa must learn to feed itself and contribute to feeding the world. We have the potential. We have 1.4 billion inhabitants, established on more than 30 million square kilometers, with more than 60% of the unused arable land on the planet. To transform our potential into reality, we need to allocate at least 10% of the national budget to the agricultural sector. This requires a proactive commitment, and your massive presence is a positive signal, a shared awareness of leaders to achieve this transformation.
And we have come to the end of this news briefing. You can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our socials. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram as well. Telesur English, I'm from the South, I'm Ana Marrero, and thank you for watching.